Happy Sunday, you guys. We are here for our weekly energy oracle forecast. Just taking a look at the week ahead to see what our spiritual weather is going to be like. Ooh, infected. So in this period of the 3 negative weeks, which we go through every summer, going from like the 17th day of Cancer into the 9th day of Leo, wherever that falls on the calendar, starting with like going by the new moons of those periods. So that it takes us through a particular like kind of initiative pathway of pressure. And it shows us exactly what we need to see is infecting our ability to be a channel for light and blessing and ease and harmony and fulfillment and basically everything that is gunking us up and blocking us and taking us through like repeated processes and patterns. We're seeing what the infection is. And in the moment, the experiential process of seeing the infection feels like it is personal and like, why is this happening? This is so unfair. But actually, it's very merciful because you're getting to see what is steering the entire ship in the wrong direction, or keeping it in one of those, you know, in the water when there's those eddies and it's like that circular current that just sucks things down, right? We're seeing what's causing that. So the more we can kind of embrace that, the better. In fact, last night I had a very challenging night at work. And, you know, I think that there were some parts of it that I think I graduated, or maybe not graduated, but I did okay. And then there are other ways that I could have done better. But overall, I feel like the opportunity, the vessel is there today for a new day and a better day. But it's like that I even in the moment, you know, was feeling all the feelings. I tried to keep my awareness that this is the testing period. This is it, you know. And all the buttons were being pushed so hard. But, you know, it's always right on time. The lessons are right on time. And our Secret Teachings of Jesus episode last night was right on time, as always. The synchronicities are so wild. It never ceases to be so mystical and miraculous and fun. All right. And then reflection. Okay. Don't, you know, once you see that you're triggered and you're being shown information, don't push it away because it's uncomfortable and you're going into avoidance and you're going into fix it mode or fight it mode or fight, flight, fawn, freeze, any of that, right? You want to pause and restrict, but pay attention to what are the quality of feelings, what are the quality of thoughts, where's your consciousness? You know, what are these things telling you? And what positive little inklings have been seeded in your heart that have given you hope over this time as well, right? What do you feel might be hopeful that's coming into bloom? Because yes, you are being shown the thorns in this moment, but what are the thorns telling you need to do to shift your direction, to shift your focus, to shift your approach? Right? If we don't make the internal shift first, no matter what outer action we take, it's always going to basically put us back at square one to deal with it from the inside. So we need a solid foundation. The rock, right? You know, there's a lot of different layers of interpretation about the rock, but one way a rock is super consistent is that it's very unaffected. Like it's affected slowly over time, but it's not reactive in the moment. The rock is solid and rock hard and dependable because it sustains the same vibration. The rock has very little self-awareness or intelligent consciousness or personal desire. It's the lower mineral level of the living kingdoms, right? So it's like a rock doesn't question its reality. It just is, you know, and it's so saturated in the fullness. It's almost like a robotic consciousness. The rock really has no free will. It's emanating in purity, right? So building our foundation, our vibrational foundation for lasting fulfillment comes when we can maintain that inner peace, because we know like the Creator's got us through the whole thing, no matter what the outer circumstances are. Even though there were, things that unfolded during my shift last night that were, I was like, oh, I'm in the test. I wasn't afraid of what was going to happen, because I know the Creator is in charge of that situation, and so those who keep themselves occupied in matters of the Torah on a daily basis, when you eat of that tree of life every day, that shields you and shrouds you in protection, right? So don't skip over what the lessons are showing you, really reflect on it. And then, so the thorns are there to show you and reflect, but through the reflection, I think we're going to have a lot more clarity and insight. And that's going to blossom into new ideas and new hope for maybe, a little bit of guidance in the right direction coming from Spirit. And a little bit more confidence about that direction. Ooh, embrace. Yes, embrace the test. Embrace the information it's giving you. Embrace the time to, process that information without being reactive. And being in effect consciousness with that information to let it marinate and to let the transformation occur. You'll be different on the other side of it. Your consciousness will have time to adjust when your emotions come back to a neutral state. So if you're already embracing the learning experience, it makes the painful process a lot shorter. You may not bypass the discomfort and the annoyance or whatever, but it's going to shorten the process, and it's going to give you the most bang for your buck, right? If you're paying a personal trainer, you don't want to have an easy workout. You want the hardest workout you can get, because you want your money to count for something, right? So embracing the lessons, and then also embracing the information, right? When you see the red flag, embrace the red flag, and then do something, act accordingly, right? When you embrace the spiritual guidance, don't just be like, oh, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Actually follow through on that, right? And then don't judge the surface circumstances, because you don't know what seeds were planted that might unfold, in ways you're not yet, you can't yet see. And then knowledge, oh my gosh, this is, putting new wisdom and new knowledge into embodiment, right? And this is part of the illumination process and the ascension process, right? Is to embody higher knowledge, higher wisdom, higher insight and intelligence coming from source. And part of that is receiving the messages, and then, letting that spiritual, intel, right? And that spiritual intelligence come through, and then be the vessel to appreciate it enough to act upon it, right? How satisfying is it when you tell someone about some great thing that you found that solved a problem for you, and you're like, oh my gosh, this delivered me in so many ways. This was such a great solution. I feel so good about this that I want to help somebody else I know that's suffering from the same problem. And so I've met two kinds of people in my line of work, because people come to me for advice, and the people that take my advice and take action on it and see results, it's like, oh, it's so satisfying. But people who blow the reading off, and they don't take the insight, they don't take the feedback, and they ignore it, and then they go through the cycle over and over again, it's like so draining and so dissatisfying, and so it just gives you so much heavy psychic distress, so it's like, same for the Creator. The Creator loves a person who can take, a lesson and translate that into wisdom that they live with, not just passing knowledge, facts that you never do anything with, right? We've all met those people that are like book smart, but they're not street smart, and they're certainly not like spiritually smart, right? And so what do people usually prefer? They prefer someone with like instincts to navigate life over someone who can just spout off like, theory and whatnot. You want lived experience. Well, so does the Creator. All right, so I think that this week we are finishing the Mercury retrograde that we're in on Thursday, and then there's that little bit of a shadow period, and then I'm not quite sure when. Oh yeah, the 9th. I was like, I don't know when the 9th of Av is over. No, Dory. The 9th of Leo. So when Leo 9th is up, we're out of the portal. Right, but we just have that shadow period of Mercury retrograde, and Mercury goes direct Thursday. So we are almost there, which means grand finale. And what happens at the end of like the Star Wars movies? There's the big battle with like whoever the Darth Vader is of this movie, wherever we are in the series. I know, it's blasphemous. Okay, well, that's all. I'm gonna go into work now. Ciao. See you tomorrow.